Hey guys, I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that Surewinder is still selling amazing products. Some of you guys have been dragging your feet for whatever reason. If your shoulder hurts, do not waste time. Pull the trigger. I just bought 4 or 5 of them, and we had 2 guys out. You know how much it cost me to pay for 2 guys being out with bad shoulders? We just pulled the trigger and we said, listen, everybody's going to have one on a truck. It's mandatory. You got to use it. Don't hesitate. Don't wait till your guys go down. It's going to cost you more. Buy a Surewinder. It's not every day someone invents something that changes the game. I found out about this product that I'm talking to you about, and I had to try it. So I ordered a few, and after using it, I'm sold. Now we stock them on our trucks. It's called All Brace, and it will help you sell more service and buy you time until doors come in. There's never been a greater time for a product like this. Phil has a video on his website of him cutting a door literally in half, installing the All Brace, and running it like nothing ever happened. It is literally incredible. One of the greatest selling videos I've ever seen. You're going to want to check it out at all-brace.com.
What's up, guys? Ryan here at Torsion Talk podcast. And we were just complaining, honestly, about all of our problems prior to going live. So welcome to the shit show.
It's the best shit show, though.
We're hoping Tommy brings light and positivity. So today we've got Tommy Cummings from Shoals Overhead Door. Not just any overhead door, Shoals Overhead Door. They are the best overhead door company in America, maybe other than Aaron Overhead Doors, but it's pretty close. These guys are near and dear to my heart. Number one, because I've been there and I know their team. But Tommy's like, I don't know. He's like one of the nicest people you ever meet. He is a little bit of a prankster. And I think his whole office has a little thing going, which might be awkward, but little babies are placed everywhere. I don't know. I'll let him tell that story.
What? I want to hear it.
We also have Tamara.
Hello.
So Tamara's on with us. Tamara and I sound like we're having the same day, but Tamara woke up this morning to an empty inbox for both of my primary email addresses.
I seriously thought I got your text, but if I had not seen that text, I would have freaked out and been like, what did I do?
Yeah, I spent we have a system in place where she has delegation rights to my email, and she logs in and clears out all the junk, and then whatever needs attention, she'll we call it star it. So I'm still not very good at checking the starred stuff. I mean, I go in waves, right?
Yeah, well, that's why we have our call at the end of the day too.
Yeah, it'll pile up on me, and then just one day I'll just buckle down and just get through it all. But I don't like doing that because normally it costs me money. So every time I go, it's really just a bunch of people asking for money.
Oh, in that way. I was like, what do you mean?
For the most part. So Tommy, how are you, bro?
Man, we're great. We're great. I'm sorry that you and Tamara are having such an awful day.
Tamara.
Yeah, I heard that actually. I was listening to Josh Yeager's podcast and I heard him throw it out there. So I thought I'd save it. But
good.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, today, yesterday, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but no, it's great. Things are happening. Doesn't mean there's not any bad going on. It's just I really want to focus on what we're getting right and what we can do better. So.
And you're not at your desk stuffing your face with horrible food and chocolate and everything else.
Well, not today, but I did eat one little small package of Sour Patch Kids before I walked in on
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, I needed
you were using the bathroom?
What's that?
Were you doing this while you were using the bathroom?
No, I actually grabbed the Sour Patch Kids then went to the bathroom, and then
I
came
got
on the
you.
podcast.
So Tommy's got the coolest bathroom ever, by the way. So I don't know. This is the first time I used the restroom there, which I use the restroom quite a bit. Like I got pee, right? I drink water. It just goes right through me. So
Oh,
Tommy has one of those, like, hey, the light's on, but it's coming off. Like you get, I think it's like 1, 3, and 5 minutes or something like that.
It's 1, 5, and 10.
1, 5, and 10. Okay.
Oh, and there is a 30 for those times where you need a 30. But I tried to find one that was just 1, 5, and 10 because I don't want to pay them to be in there with 30.
So when I walked in, I went to flip the switch and realized there's no switch. And so I'm looking at it and I'm like, I wonder if I can finish in under a minute.
You can't.
So I did, though. The
kidding?
last day,
You didn't wash your hands then.
I did wash my hands.
There's no way.
I swear, dude. The
We're gonna
first,
put your picture on the wall
Look.
right above the head then.
no, if you stand, like, you have to have your hand on the buckle or the zipper, and the other hand, so it's like you're almost stretched out, right? You press the 1 minute, and then you just like you get to it. And if you poke your belly out just a little bit, it puts a little extra pressure, gets it out faster, and then you flush, drop the toilet seat, run over there and put the soap in your hand and wash. I mean, it's probably not the most thorough hand washing.
I was
but
gonna say, did you sing the ABCs? Because
this is
otherwise
the
it doesn't
this
count.
is the race. But I swear I was able to wash my hands before the light went out.
That's
That must have been
remarkable.
the first time in your life you've ever taken under a minute in the bathroom, because
I-
Ryan, yeah, that's where he does
That's where I
Thank
do my
Yep.
my
his
games
very best work.
and my emails and my text message responses.
Yup.
I mean, dude, I'm in meetings all day. So in between meetings, I got to multitask. So it's bathroom, text messages, emails, video games.
Totally a
You
man
usually
thing.
cool. People leave you alone. No one's going to come pounding on the door. It's a great excuse. Hey, I'm in the bathroom. Let me alone. So
Y'all obviously are not moms because
I've seen the hand under the door before. You just see fingers, and you're like, "Oh God, no!" So I've seen them. I know them. I've got children.
So, Tommy, tell us a little bit about how you got in the door game. When did that start? And what is your role at Shoals?
So I am. I'm old. I hired in right after high school. So I graduated in '97. Hired in here March of '98. And
by the way, he's in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, which
That's right.
is northwest Alabama, right?
that's it. Yep.
Not far
Exactly.
from Leeds, where Bucky's is at, if you're looking for a reference.
That's it. And they're putting one in Athens too. So that's just
Nice.
maybe 45 minutes down.
And
the
there's a
road.
college. He's in a college town,
That's right.
North Alabama.
That's it. UNA.
Yeah.
It's a D1 school now. So they're known for used to be a teaching school, kind of specialized in teachers, but it's a great school. So it's
For
becoming
demographic purposes, before you get too far. Sorry, I
yeah.
feel like a lot of times I leave gaps, but you're just south of Nashville,
hmm
probably a couple hours,
A little over 2. Yeah, not quite
over 2 hours. You are northwest of Birmingham,
About the same, about 2.
about 2 hours. And then you got you're near the Mississippi border too.
That's right. We're about 2.5 hours from Memphis.
So you're kind of in the middle of some pretty big towns, and your town's not like super small, but it's not like a major city or anything.
That's right. I think at one time I looked in Florence, which our little area is combined of like 4 cities that are literally side by side. You drive into one, out of the other, you never know it, except for the signage. In those 4 cities, the largest of the cities is Florence. And I think at one time it was maybe the 10th largest in the state. So like you said, not a huge area, but certainly not. I guess it's technically rural, but it's typical Alabama, medium-sized town, I guess.
And I heard that Tuscaloosa's basically crap. So we're just taking that off the map.
I'm sorry, you may have gotten that from Brad Hickman or something. That one's
From Brad.
that's that would be inaccurate information there.
I heard they burned it down after they lost the championship.
Thought about it. You know, the only saving grace is that it was to Georgia. It was Kirby and Georgia, and
I hate this more than anything. There's like this petty sympathy game they play. Oh well, it was only a matter of time. Saban coached up Kirby, and Kirby stole all his secrets and went and won a national championship. So technically, it wasn't Kirby that won; it was all the coaching that Nick Saban did.
No. I was look. It was a matter of time for Georgia. Great program.
See this?
That was a great program.
This is not a sports podcast. This is
right.
a garage.
All right.
True.
So what are we looking at? How long have you been there?
So hired him in 98 as a commercial helper. Went to night school. We were a little slow in those days, so I would wash the trucks and mow the grass on Fridays. Get that done around lunch, early afternoon, get to take off early. So, man, that's been a long time ago. And today, it is a partnership, but I am an owner here. And
that's encouraging. I just want to point this out, right? Like, this dude came in as a helper and is now an owner, basically running the ship.
Yes.
As a partner. I mean,
I do have a financial partner. He doesn't have an active role in management.
Yeah. So I mean, that's really encouraging for somebody who might be listening to the podcast, who is either an owner who's looking for somebody to help them with this. It might be your helper that you just hired one day, right? I mean, I know it didn't happen overnight, but you're still there. Or if you are a helper or even an installer or a repair, whatever, you're thinking, what's the future for me? Am I going to do this the rest of my life? Maybe set your sights towards trying to get into that role. So Tommy, help me understand, how do you go from a helper to running the company and part owner? Like, what are some things that you did that really caught the eye of the main guys and kind of like made them want to bring you in? Because they didn't have to, right? I mean, they did it because I guess they saw value in you.
It's exactly that. It's, if I were to give anybody any, if I were to try to make this an analogy to teach, make yourself so valuable that it costs them more to replace you. They're going to hire 3 or 4 people. It's just, man, it'd be much better to just pay this guy and let him do the thing. So
what if they would pay for you to go away?
Oh, now I don't know.
That's like the opposite of what you.
Look, we're coming off. You mentioned pranks, which I'm sure we'll get to. We're coming off some pretty hard ones right now. Little beepers that were hidden in people's offices. They would probably pay a pretty good bit to get rid of them. But you did make that point, and it's I was your typical high school kid that did not like high school, did not want to go to college. So I chose a job, not even a career, chose a job, and went to night school because I thought that's what I kind of had to do. So I did that for several years. And then I grew up and decided, oh yeah, I guess I need an actual career, and started applying myself here and said, hey, I would like to be, what do I got to do to be a lead guy? Paul, at the time, my partner, but then just outright my boss, said, here's what you got to do. And I said, what kind of timeline? And he told me. So I met that criteria actually ahead of schedule. And I said, oh, that wasn't so bad. I can do that. So that's pretty easy. So we kept kind of going up the chain to where I became not only an installer, but the lead installer. And then after lead installer, I'm like, this really isn't that challenging anymore. Like, it's hard work for sure, but like, I've got to have a career. I just kept going back to, I've got to make more money. I need some benefits for my family. At the time we were talking kids, and, really wasn't, making that much, and worked a ton of overtime. And so we started having conversations about like maybe part-time office work. And so the short story is just keep at it and truly make it where, as any business owner, I mean, Ryan, if you've got a guy you can't replace, you won't replace him. You
sounds to me like you just bugged him to death until he gave in.
Man, I did the same thing to my wife to marry her. I figured whatever you got to do.
I did the same. I did the same.
Just to annoy, man, it's just going to be easier to marry this guy.
You don't see our women next to us unless we force them into it.
Well,
That's always something I've wondered
so
about.
you know.
Oh, she's beautiful. My wife is too. Yeah,
you know I'm not rich, so you know. I mean, I just annoy her.
So that's how you guys do it in the door industry, because I've noticed that like you've all got beautiful wives, and really it's just that you annoyed them to the point where they just said yes.
Yeah.
We convinced them that they can't do any better, and then we just kept asking every day until they gave in.
They're like, hey, it's either a restraining order or marriage, I guess.
That's Ryan's motto. Is that where you got it from?
I have not heard him say it. No, but that's hilarious. See, it is a thing. Great minds and all that, right?
Oh, so, how funny.
Tommy, how did we originally meet? Do you remember?
I do actually remember. So I was listening to the podcast, and actually at the time, it was before the podcast, you had just been making a lot of chatter on the I'm not very socially the social networking thing. I mean, I get on there, but I just don't do it. But I maintain an account honestly for the garage door stuff on Facebook and such.
Sure.
And you were always on there posting, asking this, that. You started the podcast. So you started the podcast, and then I think Facebook messaged you or something and just said, hey man, you know, it's kind of cool to see that someone else takes this stuff real serious, you know, like, you know, I don't know, something of that nature. And then we began chatting there. I think we gave you a chat, or we had messaged a few times. You spent November of 19 or 20, I guess. I said, hey, kid, would you, you know, I got an idea. Would you give me 30 minutes of your time? You gave me a call. You know, we just kind of kicked it off from there. So, and I guess saw that we had a lot in common and really dig this stuff. So,
and the love affair started there. Just kidding. So, there's very few people I'll tell you that I hit it off with so quickly. You know, just kudos to you. Like, you're the real deal, right? Like, I love meeting people that are genuine and real and just lay it out there. And, you know, our relationship has grown a lot over the years. You joined GDU, you hired such and such media. So I guess you believe in what we're doing here. So I greatly appreciate you believing and trusting in that too. But you asked in one of the GDU groups, does anybody have a reference for like a sales trainer? And I was like,
I remember that.
I'm a sales guy. And honestly, like, I can say this now because you already paid, but I probably would have paid to do it because I enjoyed it that much.
Tamara,
I know.
Refund.
I enjoyed it that much. Like, getting to know your team, it felt like I was here, you know, at Buford, Aaron Overhead Doors. Your culture is great. Your people are great. You know, the way you manage is very similar to the way we do things here. You have some freaking great employees, and you know, I just I guess the best thing for me to do now is just really ask you, what do you contribute the great culture and atmosphere there to? Because to me, I'm trying to get people to care about culture, and I care greatly about it. And it's hard to get other people to care about it. People say they care about it. You know, they put it in their ad, great company culture, but like,
it's something that Tommy is actively working on.
Yeah. What do you contribute the culture to there? Because I feel like you've got one of the best ones I've seen, if not the best in the garage door industry.
Oh, wow. Well, first off, thank you for saying so. It, you know, you having someone in, you never know like how you stack up. And while it's not about peer comparison, you know, you would like to think that you're doing a good job. You know, you'd like to think that you're, and you know, so it was a little bit nervous, like, man, Ryan's gonna come in and tell me I've got all this stuff backwards. You know, I'm doing this wrong, and this is, man, you got this, and you know, your staff's all crap, you can't hire, and you know, you're a little bit nervous about that kind of stuff. So it does. I appreciate the kind words for sure. I think it starts with actually giving a damn, if I can say that. You know, But, I think it just starts there. It just starts with actually caring about people. I do care about my guys. I have done this work that they do, and sometimes it's awful. It's hot. It's awful. And, I have been broke, and I know what it's like to struggle, and I've been there. And so when times are okay around here and I can throw a little work towards a guy that I know is struggling a little bit, they all know. They'll come to me and say, man, you got any weekend work I can hit? And I'm like, yeah, let me line something up. And if I can afford it, I'll even sometimes generate it for them, even if I don't need it, because sometimes I need them to do it. And so that I feel like that should be reciprocal. So I think it just starts with caring. And I will say this is something I'm a little bit of a slow learner on, is there are some people that really, really, really appreciate that. And there are some people that don't really care. You could give them everything you own, they still don't care, and they'll ask for more. And something I have gotten better about and am continuing to work on is just getting rid of those people. Spotting them earlier, giving them a shot or two. It just doesn't work. You're just not going to fit our culture. We've got a give and get culture here. I need some help me. You need some help, I help you. And those folks that just don't get that and don't want to participate in that, I mean, honestly, this is not your place. You just need to go on. Even if you're good, you just need to go on.
So some people would say, man, you sound like a jerk, but that's not at all. Like, what you want, right? And that's why your culture is good, I think. Like, for an employee listening to that who gets offended easily and is the type of person that you don't want, it's probably like, man, he sounds like such a jerk. I don't want to work for him. But for the guy who's like really good, or the girl who's really good, they're like, oh, wow, I would want to work for him. So like that approach, even saying that, and that's kind of the approach I take in interviews when I'm talking to people about protecting our culture and this is what we're looking for. A lot of the times that like weeds people out right there, and I'll even tell people in the interview process, listen, half the people don't even get fired because they get weeded out by the other guys on their same level because they're not carrying their weight and they're getting called out and it's uncomfortable. When your peers are willing to say, hey, you need to step it up, dude. You're not pulling your weight. You need to do, you need to do this, you need to do that. That's when I think you've like achieved the kind of the next level. And I think you have that already, right? I think
we're right knee deep into that. In fact, we're going to discuss tomorrow a situation in which I felt like maybe some peers could have maybe done some self-management with some, like I said, some peer groups better. And I'm going to explain how the situation developed.
We can't tie the guy to the front of the truck and drive at 80 miles per hour.
Can't do that. Well, I guess we can, but maybe we should.
Art? Was that Art? Did Art do that?
It was. It was probably Art. He was involved in some capacity. But yeah, and I think you're exactly right. And I'm not willing to compromise on that give and get because we've had them here before. And it really is, I don't know who's attributed with saying it, but the statement of nothing, something to the nature of nothing deflates a good employee like watching a bad employee be tolerated, something like that.
Yep.
It really is the truth, even though I have to tell myself that often. We have had some employees that should have been gone faster. And, it's amazing. As soon as they're gone, it's like this relief, this pressure that's off, and everybody's more free and everybody's getting along, and then you've got more opportunity. It really is.
What happens if that guy's your top producer though, like revenue driver?
I'm trying to decide how much detail to give. We had that very scenario happen about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And I had to dismiss an employee that was our best in his particular line. And because he was our best, I was working with him through some personal issues, wanted it to work. What's bad is though I felt that I wanted it more than he wanted it to work.
That happens a lot.
Yeah. And that's when I realized that was the case. It was just time to
So have you guys been like that? I think every business owner out there is like, man, I got one of those, right? So when you make that decision, how hard is that? That's got to be like,
it's the worst. I literally did not. I can tell you the date. I can tell you the date the incident happened because it was my anniversary, and I really so badly wanted to deal with it that night and not go home and think about it all night and not ruin my anniversary with my wife talking about hey, my star player over here. So I had to just suck it up, deal with it, go on the date and put it aside, and then literally stayed up all night long, worried about, how I'm going to address the situation, and didn't sleep but about an hour or two that night. So yeah, for those that wonder, does it bother bosses or owners to deal with that stuff? It bothers probably more than employees.
Right.
I bet that guy didn't stay up all night worried about it.
No. So how do you recover from that? Are you in the middle of recovering from that, or have you already seen the bounce back, or what do you like mentally, financially, like how do you bounce back?
We are currently in the middle of that. I'll say it this way. I don't know if this is successful or not, but my strategy is this. In fact, tomorrow morning we got a meeting with that particular department, because literally someone's been gone, like on vacation or this or that, since that incident, and we're going to discuss the incident because it's one that's very blatant. Everybody knows, so we're going to just discuss it.
Transparency.
Hey, here's the deal. Y'all know what happened, but look, this is it. This is what happened. This is why he was gone. This is what was happening that you didn't know about. Hate it worked out that way, but it did. So here's where we are. Over here's where we're going.
Yeah.
Now, this is my thoughts on how to do it. What feedback have you got? What input do you have? This is where we're headed. How do we get there, guys? Let's make a plan. Of course, I have the plan, but I'm willing to, of course, adapt and change and revise all this stuff based on their input. And this is where we're going. Let's move it forward and let's get there. And we're going to build some tangible goals along the way. When we get here, we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna do it Nick Saban and celebrate that one day, and then we're gonna get back to work, right? But then we're gonna celebrate those goals, but we're gonna move towards them.
Every single thing you just said is like, I'm like beaming with pride. Like, I just love all of that so much. That it speaks volumes to the type of leader that you are. Like, I think that the way you're handling is the absolute perfect way that it could be handled.
I'm gonna need y'all to take all this stuff you're saying and make sure my wife hears this podcast and tell her just how awesome I am.
I'll send you the YouTube link when it's up so she can watch it.
Just the good stuff.
But it's just so wonderful. Like, as leaders, like, how meaningful is it to your employees for you to come in there with a plan, but to also for them to know that you are totally open to hearing what their ideas are, because so often, like, them just being heard doesn't happen. And it just makes me really proud. You're doing awesome. High five.
Well, I appreciate it. And I'm gonna tell you, and this will be a little plug for GDU. That group is full of people who are like that, who do those things. I can't say that I specifically learned that from there, but it is that type of culture in that group. So it makes you think in those terms. So
yeah.
Consistency in everything, including price, reliability, quality, not just quality, but great quality control. These are things that describe Somer USA. Somer's not some startup company, not one that you need to be worried about going out of business in the near future. Somer and their family of businesses are $200 million companies. They're in over 100 countries, and they have locations in 20 countries. This is a large organization who stands behind their product and works through integrity. And there's not another company out there willing to drop what they're doing and help you out like Somer. These guys are awesome. Not only have they been loyal to the Torsion Talk podcast, they've been loyal to the technicians and the owners of the companies who install their product. In my opinion, if you're not at least offering Somer as an additional option, you're cheating yourself. Listen, first-time dealers, I've got a special for you. If you buy 10 or more Somers between now and the end of season 6, while supplies last, we will offer you free shipping. You have no more excuses. The prices are great. The product is amazing. Go check out Somer USA and order 10 for free shipping. I'm going to tell you guys a marketing secret. You want to gain more social media likes, shares, and follows? People love unique and cool projects. There are no better photos to share than the ones on Shoals Door's social accounts. These guys post some incredible things. Make sure to go there and like and share their Facebook and Instagram post with your business account. So if you like their business account, you can share their post. The bifold doors are awesome, and they're doing some great projects that will go viral on social media if you share them. Go right now to Shoals Door on Facebook and check out some of the projects they share and like their page. Oh, and don't forget, no one builds a better bifold than Shoals.
I don't know if you're okay with talking about this, but you know, a lot of us, we look at business owners and we think, you know, hey, they're just greedy, you know, they got it going on. They don't have any, you know, whatever. Well, you aren't only a great business owner, but in my eyes, and you may not feel like this, but I think you're a great husband. It sounds like you're a great father too. You have 2 kids, 1 special needs. You have a beautiful wife who has amazing patience to deal with you.
This is true.
Yeah. And your son, I think you said he's teenage years, right?
Yeah, just turned 15 a couple weeks ago.
I mean, just the son alone at 15 is probably enough to drive anybody crazy, but to have someone who, you know, a daughter who's special needs, I mean, to balance all that, that's a lot for a business owner. And for you to come in every day and slap a smile on your face, because I feel like you're always smiling, always positive. And I'm sure you have bad days like Tamara and I are having right day, but
Just Tamara.
yeah,
Just me.
but it says a lot about you, right? To be able to balance work and life and have that, like, it, you know, it may not feel like you're successful in all realms, but it looks like you're successful in all realms. How do you, and balance is a bad word. I just wrote an article on this for Forbes. I don't believe balance is achievable between work and personal life because of the amount of hours that we sleep and work. But how do you achieve success in both home life and work life and stay positive between the two?
Man, I don't know. I am just by nature a positive person. I haven't always been that, but I used to be one of the worst negative people. And even my wife and I have a deal. I'll just say this because I'm currently painting and like some stuff in the living room. And I've told her outright, like, if I start complaining
and start throwing stuff.
Yeah, if I'm complaining,
bring me a beer.
And actually, that's a better plan. I'm like, if I'm fussing and complaining and acting kind of petty, I said, I want you to tell me. And she's like, for real? I'm like, yeah. So the other day, I literally said, man, this just sucks. I hate this so bad. And she goes, you remember what you told me to tell you? And I said, yeah. All right, thanks. You know, and it hurt my feelings.
That is the best, though. When you
hurt my feelings, but it was
in your life
truth.
To hold you accountable.
Yep.
Like I tell my staff all the time, but they rarely do it. Right? Occasionally, I have one.
Your wife, she'll do it.
My wife, I don't even have to give her permission. And she's just like, yeah, Ryan, suck it up. You're fine. I'm like,
yeah,
yes,
right. Yeah, it's you know, but at any rate, you asked the question, how
do you
I
achieve
don't know.
success in both?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I try to, you know, when I'm here, I try to be here. And this is something that, you know, I've really personally been working on. When I'm here, I'm here. And then when I'm home. And so, and then if it means I need
How
to be
you been doing with that?
Much better. I have much better. Got some, I'm going to be restructuring a little bit. We spoke about that earlier, but going to be restructuring a little bit to give a little bit more freedom so I can do like actual owner stuff and not like trivial things that lots of people can do. That's going to be better for all of us that I do actual owner stuff because I have a responsibility, right? Like somebody's got to be the owner. It happens to be me. So I need to actually fulfill that. I owe these people and this business that. But But when I'm at home, I'm not the owner. My wife reminds me that often. And you're not working at Shoals Overhead Door right now. You're at home.
Don't treat me like an employee.
Fair enough.
That's what
I'm doing the dishes, whatever. So
yeah.
But I try to be
not the boss. Remember when you got hired, you were the helper. Yeah. When you get here, you're the helper.
That's exactly what it is. That's why I'm remodeling the living room against my will too. So
that's awesome. Well, dude, you may be against your will, but I'm sure you're just like racking up the brownie points right now. So I think that's great. Are there any tips? Well, actually, let me just rephrase this. For business owners that struggle with that, being successful at both home and work, taking work home or whatever, have you found that since you've started focusing more attention on being like present at home, has that negatively affected you at work in any way? Like maybe not checking your emails at night or getting to them fast as you used to at night? Or like, do you feel like you're not able to achieve the same level of effectiveness at work because you're kind of shutting it down a little bit in the evenings?
So I'm going to say, I'm going to give you a long answer to that.
Okay.
In my head, I thought that it required all that, right? And it required me to do all that. But what I realized is when I didn't do it, I wish I could say I had staff that volunteered and jumped up. They didn't, but I found that I would just hit the things that really, truly had to be done. The things that could wait, I either let them wait or I gave them to someone else. I'm not going to say I'm as productive, but I'm a whole lot happier, a whole lot more rested. And those things that could wait, they can wait. Like it's okay. You don't have to, you don't have to get it as immediate sometimes. So I am allocating more of that to my staff and going to restructure even further. But yeah, it's definitely an improvement. And I guess by nature, I tend to fall back in that rut once in a while. Like every now and then the situation pop up and it does require me. But what I try to be conscious of at a bad level, but I do try to be conscious is, hey, if that's the one thing and it needs your attention, that's okay.
Yeah.
But then you're done. That's it. You put the rest away and leave that be. And it takes hard work to get to any level, but just don't get stuck in it, right? Like just don't get stuck there. That's not
seasons too, right? Like I think, and I tell like my wife this, and I preach this a lot to other business owners. Like you don't have to feel bad if you have to work late one night or you got a busy week. Where you get caught up is when, I'll find myself being so busy, but then when I get caught up, I'm anxious because I'm like, where am I supposed to put my time? Right. And it takes me like a day or two to wind down because I don't have a task list that's a mile long. And so you gotta, like, I think just being so aware, like you remember a couple of years ago, self-aware was like the key phrase, right? Everybody was talking about got to be self-aware. But I do agree that there's a portion of that. Like you got to be self-aware to realize, hey, listen, it's been 3 or 4 days since I've played outside with my son, or, it's been a few days since I've sat down and talked to my wife without any distractions. And when you can do that effectively, it's a great reminder. Or when you set people in your life like your wife who will just tell you haven't sat down for 3 days, then it's good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just got to remember not to get mad at my wife for telling me that.
You should just not ever get mad at your wife. I'm sure she's an angel and she doesn't do anything wrong.
Never.
Well,
Never.
She's married to Ryan, so
I know.
She's
the woman is a saint.
She has to be a saint.
Mother Teresa.
I'm just gonna tell you, however bad you think she's got it, it's 10 times worse. Like you guys don't understand. I am extremely difficult. She tries to tell me what to do, and I won't do it. I won't, because I don't like to be told what to do. Or she'll tell me how to do it, and I won't do it that way because I don't want to be told how to do it. I'm going to do it my way. Like I'm so immature, and I try not to be that way with her, but it is so hard. And it's not just her. I don't like anybody. I'm an owner because I got fired at every job. I don't like being told what to do. Cut me loose and I'll bring you results. That's all. Like, I'm a hunter. Let me go out and kill and drag it back. Don't tell me when to take the shot and how to shoot. All right, I got this. Just go back over there.
So I wonder how many owners are that way. I mean, I'm gonna bet a bunch are. Is that I'm
75,
Not
80%.
all. Yeah. Yeah, not all.
We can take a poll in GDU.
we really need
Everyone
to-
thinks they are, but not everyone is.
Yeah.
I'm stubborn. All right, so let's change gears a little bit because I feel like I'm going to lose everybody by complaining about how much I don't do what I'm supposed to when my wife asks me to. So, sales. Okay. So there's this perception that sales is bad, right? And one of the GDT, whatever, owners group, there was a comment made, about a $1,300 repair. And there was some controversy. So I did a poll that said, hey, if you think that there is $1,300 worth of value on a repair, or what did I say? Do you agree that a garage door repair there can be enough value for $1,300? Unanimously, almost, yes. But there was still,
you had asked if it was possible.
if it was possible.
Yeah.
And there's like
I'd say
200 votes
yeah.
with like 96% yes, right?
Mhm.
Wow.
But then there was like some that like argued, you have the chuck in a truck type folks, and they're like, I don't understand what could possibly cost $1,300. But they don't have a warehouse, they don't have employees, they don't have workers' comp, general liability, they don't have, iPads with software, and they don't have any of that, right? Like for them, you're right. $1,300 for a repair might be too much. I know when you and I were talking, we were talking about sales, and I came in and worked with some of your salespeople, and your people are like very open, which I admire, like open to listening and exploring new things. But your team's also very skeptical, like most, of anybody coming in to train salespeople, because they're like, this guy, he's going to come in and try to like get us to rip our customers off. And I'm not down for that. So, what is that like? Not just your experience, but like, how do you feel like you transition your salespeople to being open to new things, but also being aware of things that may not be good? So trying to figure out, like, how do you find that balance when you're bringing somebody in from a third party to train your salespeople to win?
And that may be tough, right? Like distinguishing with some degree of certainty what that is, like you said, September of this past year, we kind of relaunched our service program. We were literally losing money on our service program.
You were.
We got better software that allowed us to track, and man, I'll just say, I get the mentality and the pride that comes along with, hey, I can take a 30-year-old motor and fix it with a $5 part. And I get that. I do. Yep. But I mean, at what expense? And I'm not even talking profit. I mean, how much is it worth you to pay that customer to do that? Because that's what you're doing. When you look at the numbers, if you're fixing motors that are that old, you were literally paying your customer to let you be there. I mean, Ryan, we looked at a month where we did not make enough to cover payroll and truck payments and fuel. I mean, it was just that simple. I was like, my gosh. So, can you do it ethically? Can you charge more for better service and do it ethically? I mean, knock on wood, I think we are. I think several are. I think your group is. I mean, I'm looking at our reviews, and while there's lots of people that have more, we're 194, and we've got, I think, only 3 reviews that aren't 5-star.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, or maybe 4. I mean, it's just not many. And Angie's List, we've got a 5 out of 5. Facebook, a 5 out of 5. And I don't do that to brag. I'm just saying we're
Yeah.
not ripping people off.
Right.
It costs a lot of money to pay 401k and pay for individual owned insurance and to have a 20. I think our service trucks are 2020 and 2021 and a 2021. I think we got 2 21s and a 20. So those suckers are expensive. The racks, the tools, the sure
More
winders.
so now than before.
Yeah. So all that stuff's expensive. We're doing a little training in the morning. So I've got to buy $150 worth of biscuits for everybody. So that's coming out of that too. So
Yeah.
it's just, man, it's, that stuff's
Well,
expensive.
answering the
So
phones, making sure
Yeah.
your billing
It's-
is going good.
I think people that have that, like, man, I can't imagine. They're just looking at the cost of the stuff.
right.
Like, and we know the cost of the stuff isn't what we're charging, but we're giving them a presentation. It's kind of like this, and this is the analogy I use to my guys. If I'm gonna eat a steak, I know I can buy it at Walmart or Publix or wherever, and I know I can give somewhere around $10 a pound for sirloin. If I go to just a general steakhouse scenario, I know I'm gonna spend $30 on that steak. If I'm gonna go to the Tower over here in town, I know I'm gonna spend $70 for that steak.
Thank you for taking me there. It was delicious.
Oh yeah, it's great. And so forth and so on. If you're going to go to Ruth's Chris, you're going to spend $100 for that steak. So it's okay to charge $100 for a steak if you give them a $100 experience.
Yeah.
If you give them a $30 experience, that's where there's problems. So
You didn't cut the meat right.
yeah,
You didn't cook it right. You overcooked it, undercooked it. Then when you came out, you just threw the plate down on the table and was like, "Here's your steak." Like,
I want to.
that's a big difference from somebody coming out with like a towel on their arm and hand it over and putting your napkin in your lap. And you know what I'm saying? Like people appreciate an experience, and presentation plays a huge role with that. And so,
communication too. So we've got
Yeah.
software that tells them when we're on the way, and it lines people up the day before, and all that stuff costs money too.
And contractors historically are not very good at communication or setting expectations. So
Yes.
if you're just doing that, that's worth something, like you're already increasing the experience greater than what the customers are used to. Now, we talked about like sales and accountability. I believe that anytime you have salespeople, you got to have accountability. Salespeople have a tendency to push limits. I'm a sales guy.
Sure. Yeah.
Push limits all the time. So you got to check on me every once in a while. Not that I have a bad intentions, but it becomes a competitive thing, right? Am I better than the other guy, or can I break a record or whatever? And so, you get that. And so, I tell my team, like, we're not celebrating you, selling a big ticket. Like, congratulations, but that's not who we are, right? Like, good job that you did everything you were supposed to that led up to that. But we're not in here high-fiving because you were able to get the customer to spend X amount of dollars. That's not how this works. So we talk about accountability, we talk about gratitude, we talk about empathy, we talk about, we're humans, right? We're here to serve our community. These are the people that we live with and go to school with, and whatever. You told me a story earlier that moved me, and this stemmed from, for those, I'll give some background. So it was like 4 years ago, maybe. I flew out to Vancouver to hang out with Kyle Hart. And so while I was there, we were talking, and I was telling him about my hardship program that we have, and how our salespeople and service people can give services away for free or heavily discounted to people in need. And the definition of need is, doesn't have to be financial, just somebody hurting or maybe needs a break or whatever. And they nominated me for, which I didn't even know existed, the humanitarian award through IDA. And so IDA sent me a little thing to fill out, and I was like, sure, I'll fill it out. This is pretty cool if I were to be able to win this, but that's not why I'm doing it. So I filled it out, and next thing you know, I won. So we loved it, right? And you know, I told a little bit about it, and I had like 4 people coming to me after that event and tell me how they're going to implement that at their place. And then while I was there talking to you and I think Paul, we were talking about, you know, hey, what are some great ways to hold your people accountable or create that heart of empathy? And I told you guys, like, I was like, you know what, my guys really appreciate when they can give something away to someone who really needs it. And so we kind of told you guys a little bit about the program. And so I'll hand it off to you to kind of explain how that affected you guys and what you did and a little bit about the story.
Yeah, so we totally stole your idea.
Which is great.
I will own that, but it was a great idea. So we did totally steal
It's
it.
like
We
the
call
one
it-
original one that I've had, by the way.
It's a fantastic one, really. We call it SOD Cares, and so we use it. Was that? So
Oh, SOD, not
yeah,
SOD.
yeah, but
Okay.
it's yeah, that's
Sorry.
a D, a dog, E, Shoals Overhead Door. So our SOD Cares program, and any of our, it's really open to any of our technicians, but let's be honest, it's the service techs, you know, that are
Yeah.
going to use it. And so if they're at someone's house and it's a situation that they, in fact, Kevin, I'll tell you about Kevin's experience here in a moment, but you know, if they're there and it's a situation where, man, they need some work done and they just can't afford it, period. It's not about financing. They call it in. We have one person here that tracks it. That way they know. We put one person over it. That way they know they've got the pulse. It can't be 3 different people approving
Yeah.
it. They call it in. And if the technician feels strong about it, we just give them the stuff. And so 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Kevin calls me, one of my service techs, and he's like, hey, I got this situation. Can't get a hold of Morgan. Morgan was out that day. She's the one that heads it up. So I pull up or see what we've given away for the month and whatever. And he's like, they have to have a motor. They're parking in this car. Husband's got a medical situation that is frankly grim. They're older, need to work, don't have anything. It's pretty clear they don't have anything, and neither of one of them need to be lifting this door, and they've got to have a motor. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Get them a motor. That's fine. Like whatever, come get one and go put it up. Go do it this afternoon. So Kevin comes back to the shop, gets a belt drive, LiftMaster belt drive motor, puts it up, gets them all installed. Said the lady started crying, gives Kevin a hug. Kevin starts crying. Kevin calls me. I start crying. I just started to look for people to start crying. It was just awful, you know, but Kevin called me later and said, and he was kind of choked up then. He said, I've never worked for a place that actually meant what they said when they say stuff like that. And he said, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do that. And I'm like, thank you, man. You don't realize you blessed me. Like, it's just a mess. So we're going to have him share it tomorrow at our safety meeting. But it was an amazing experience, and I can tell you we got far more out of it than whatever it cost us in dollars.
Monetary value.
Yeah,
100%.
It was just amazing. We were able to do that. The lady has written us a nice thank you letter. She didn't have to do that. We didn't do it for that. We're not posting it anywhere. We're just, you know, it's a small token to keep those guys grounded. It keeps them grounded, it keeps me grounded. And we're glad to get back to the community when we can like that. So yeah, that was a pretty awesome experience.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, we've experienced very similar response when we've done that. You know, and I've had people write me letters, and I've sat there and cried reading them, and had guys call me crying. And you know, the garage door industry is full of a bunch of tough guys.
Sure.
But when you're faced with a little kid who's going through chemo, has got no hair, and you are able to bless that family, I don't care how tough you are, them walls are coming down. And I love this because it puts things in perspective, right? I never want a crew that's money hungry. I do want them to be motivated about money, and that's different, right?
Sure.
But we've got to be a company of heart. with empathy and understanding. And so that helps balance a lot of these, inflated prices because of inflation and increases in our prices due to supply chain issues. Like my guys were thinking, dang, this is really expensive. And they're used to selling this stuff for half the price because it was so much cheaper than before. Well, now it's twice the price. And so when they're able to go bless somebody like that, it does genuinely make them feel a lot better. And so, but like you mentioned, I mean, you're talking, this is another thing about culture that I believe makes a difference is you've now, you've got a service guy named Kevin, who's fairly new, 3
Yeah.
months, 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, maybe 3. Yeah, maybe going on 4, but yeah,
Okay.
very, very new.
Very new. Now he's bought in, right? Like, let's just be honest. He was probably bought in before, but that experience has him really excited about doing what he's doing. And he's going to go home. And what's he going to do? He's going to tell his wife. He's going to tell his parents. They're going to tell their friends. And it's not that you're doing it for that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is word spreads fast. And on the flip side of that, profit's not bad. It's okay to make a profit, especially when you're helping the community out with stuff like that when you can. And so I think a lot of business owners look at profit as a negative, but I look at profit as, if we can make more profit, we could do more things like that. Right. And so I think the perspective is very different. And I think it's really cool. I really appreciate you sharing that story with us, with me earlier. And then I obviously asked for permission to share it on the podcast, but I want to encourage everybody that's listening to the podcast to implement the same thing with their business, because there's going to be times where you go to homes and they've got a sad story and it's believable. And you're like, man, if I could help them out, even if you did it for cost, you don't have to do it for free. It's not like that. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be anything, right? But just helping people out, I think, is important. It doesn't always have to be about money. So this will pay dividends for you, your staff. I think tomorrow the story will impact the other staff, and they've got to know that their portion contributed to that, right? Even though Kevin got to meet the people and install it, Kevin couldn't have done it without, someone answering the phone and someone doing invoicing and somebody stocking the truck, and everybody played a role in it. And so I think it's special, and I really appreciate you sharing that with us. And
No. Well, I'm hoping too it will help at least again those service techs to target and even look for that opportunity, right? Like it's not something that we do begrudgingly. Like, man, I guess we said we would. I guess we'll do it if we have to. Man, I almost made it out of July without. That's not it. Like, I want it to be like, because we've already been discussing what happens if we get too many. I'm like, I don't know. We'll if we can afford it, we'll do them all, or we'll bump them to the next month. We'll do something, but let's get there first. So like, find me a couple in a month, and let's deal with that problem when we get there. So, but I felt at first like maybe no one was looking. So it kind of it meant something to me that Kevin was looking, and I think when he shares the story tomorrow with the rest of the staff, they will be looking. And it won't hurt my feelings a bit if we get too many. If we get too many, we'll either afford it or we won't. We'll bump them to the next month or whatever we got to do. But we'll deal with that problem. I'm just glad to be a part of it. So,
heck yeah. Well, Tommy, no doubt, bro, you were doing a killer job running Shoals Overhead Door, and I think the big man got the right guy for the job. What I learned while I was there is that everybody respects you greatly, and even when they disagree with you. I even had one person tell me, I may not agree with everything he says.
I know that.
I like him. You probably do know who that was. But he loves you to death, and the whole group just spoke so highly of you. Like, and it was an honor to be able to come in and meet your team and your staff, and they welcomed me like I was part of you guys for a couple of days, and it felt good. like it's nice to go check out other places and be welcomed like that. So I just want to say I really appreciate that and appreciate you coming on the podcast and sharing your stories. And I think this podcast is going to help a lot of business owners because we tackled some pretty relevant stuff that I think a lot of business owners deal with on a regular basis.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, and I'm glad to participate in GDU. And Ryan didn't pay me to say this; I didn't get some kind of credit, but if you're on the fence about it, check it out. It's a great group. It's a lot of people that help each other by developing culture and that sort of thing. So you'll be rubbing elbows, so to speak, with more people like yourself, and then. Also, the sales training, I don't know if you still got that going, but
I do.
If somebody's interested, you really should do it. I will say from a financial point of view, it made dollars and cents. It made so much more than that besides that, but it was great to have you in for sales training and just general business consulting. It was really good, and it benefited us. You're on a first name basis here. I'm shocked your picture isn't on the wall somewhere. So. But,
I'll make sure that happens. I'll get that.
Oh, yeah, it's going to go in the bathroom. That's right, because you'll be killing a 1 minute punch there.
1 minute winner.
Yeah, I did say there was one guy, and I said, just because it's got it does have like a 30-minute setting, and I did say, just because it's got 30 doesn't mean you have to use 30,
Right.
Yeah, so it's but at any rate, it was awesome to be on.
Very cool. Well, thank you for your time, guys. If you are, I think this was a great podcast all around, whether you're talking about family and the success of being with your family or work. I did not pay him for the plug for GDU or my consulting services, but I appreciate that. For everybody who signs up, we'll give Tommy $100 off.
Promo for the end of the month.
Promo for the end of the month. You sign up by no, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, sign up, please.
But we thank you for listening.
Torsion Talk Tommy for 15 off.
Yeah. Torsion Talk 15 coupon code. So anyway, I noticed that when you were singing the praises of GDU, Tamara had a perma smile. And listen, I've officially lost my virtual assistant here. I've fallen to the middle of all the owners that she loves. So
please.
I asked her.
She's pretty awesome.
The other day, and she was like, "Who, me?" I was like, "Yeah, you." She's like, "I'm too busy working on something for Tommy."
I have never told you that I'm too busy.
I'm kidding. Well, listen, thank you guys for following along. If you're a business owner, we really appreciate everything that you do for your team. And, if you are interested in GD, you can go to garagedoorU.com, fill out the application, and we'll check it out. And we don't approve all, but we approve most. And you can get some information on it from there too. But thank you for following along. Make sure you like our Torsion Talk Facebook page. I'm on Facebook too. Feel free to send me a friend request. I'll pretty much connect with everybody unless you're a jerk. Then I'll just delete you and block you. But I got a couple of those. But that's it. Stay safe. Treat your people good. Make the best possible culture that you can. And if you see Tommy, tell him you said hey and you heard his podcast.